Capital Fall Nationals are coming to an end tonight, and we're closing this event with two powerhouse diesel tractor classes. For Justin Wagler, this week has been one for the history books. Taking home 3 wins in 3 separate classes by a single driver in back-to-back events has never happened before until last night's Absolute Showcase, which saw him take home victories in the Pro Stock and Limited Pro Stock classes. Don't go anywhere. The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League starts now. Welcome to Pierce County Fairgrounds in Ellsworth, Wisconsin for the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League. This is the Optima Batteries Curd Capital Fall Nationals presented by K&N. Ken Stout and Leslie Mears here to call the action for you as we are going to cover a couple of categories, both the Limited Pro Stock tractors and their big brothers, the Pro Stock tractors.
Yeah, brand new venue for the 2019 season, and excited to be up here in Wisconsin, where we do see so many Pro Stocks and Limited Pros. So we're going to see a variety of tractors here today from a variety of different organizations pulling here on the Champions Tour circuit.
Ryan Kookber will kick things off here with the money shot. Man, and once he hooked that thing up, the front end launched up in the air, and he carried it out through there. Look at that number, 363 and 36. That's an incredible number.
It took him a while to get going here with this hole shot. And you can see he really struggles, has to use some brake, but there's the launch. Going up on the wheelie bars, that Rhino Ag box topping off very, very late, about the 225 to 250 mark. And it looked like there was 7 weights in the box, and so that's typically what they run here. Now, at Ellsworth, there are 2 tracks running simultaneously. The track that we are running on now is the track that has been here for decades and that has been run on by a lot of guys, and so it's a very seasoned track, and it's got a lot of power, as we can see.
As you can see, we also added some weight to that sled, so Ryan will have to come back at the end of the class and give it another shot. It almost sounded like that thing had a multi-stage clutch in it. You could almost hear the fingers coming in. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's what it sounded like anyways. Pretty cool hook there for sure to watch those things really drag one of those sleds down through there at speed. Up next will be Mark Wells for a few dollars more. It comes in here second in the points as he's chasing Justin Wagler, and Leslie had a chance to speak to him earlier.
So Mark Wells started the season strong and then got a little aggressive on some changes to try to get up there with the leaders in the category. So Mark, what things did you change and what kind of results did you have from those?
Try some different weight placement on the tractor. That didn't work. Different air pressure didn't work. Changes under the hood, that didn't work. So trying to take everything back to where I was at the beginning of the season, and just trying to make the best of it. There's only a couple more hooks left in the season, and just trying to get down the track and hold on to second place.
Yeah, do you think it's more about trying to get that baseline so you can do work on the dyno for next year and kind of think about how you're going to progress into the next season?
Yeah, just try some new parts and just trying to find some more power and try to do better next year. Yeah.
He's been pretty solid all along the way, grabbing some good, strong points inside of the category, but as of this date, has only been on the podium 1 time.
Yeah, and a little bit of falter there at Terre Haute, but when you're up against the likes of Justin Wagler, you know, it's really kind of hard to beat that kind of consistency.
Something kind of funky going on there right at the very start, but a great distance here even after they adjusted that sled. 336 is another massive number, 336 and 54, and that will be the mark for the rest of the category to shoot for.
Such a good power track here. It's all about getting that great hole shot, and that's what so many pullers talk about often, and so gets the ground speed up, but really having a hard time keeping the front end balance. And I think that's where he's talking about, moving that weight around and trying to find that perfect placement. It looks like they did put at least one other weight in the box of the sled, and they made that trip hit a little harder and go down the rails a little faster.
Here's a look at the points. As we were talking about before, Justin Wagler with a commanding lead here with the Real Deer, has been on top of the box the last 4 consecutive rounds. And, of course, we'll see him a little bit later on. Mark Wells there in second. Brett Hackstadt rounds out your top 3. As we continue on here, first red tractor of the category as Nick Gallet comes up here running in the red. And Nick has been on the podium as well this season, and did so just 1 day ago here at Ellsworth. Oh, and he's going to charge way out there as well and take over the lead, 3:54 and 79.
So amazing to see the ground speed that these guys are able to find off that starting line. And for Nick, just 1 day ago, as he picked up that podium that you mentioned, it was about figuring out the tires, and that's something that they've been really working on. The Limited Pro class has been watching the pro stockers out there and how they've been developing tires throughout the year, and they're really getting in on it too and finding that it makes a huge difference. You can make all the power in the world on the dyno, but if you can't lock it into the track, there's really no use having it out there. And so just a really commanding run for him, balancing that front end out there, so much ground speed, and riding it out to a huge distance.
Exciting stuff for sure, and the other half of their camp is going to come up here next with Tom doing the driving. We just watched the Running in the Red machine. This one's called Running Red Hot, and it'll be Tom Gallet doing the driving. Again, another international, and not much time between the two, so they can share a little bit of information, a little bit of notes, and maybe make some small changes. Leslie also spoke with Tom.
So the benefits of being at the same facility for 2 days in a row to hook is that you get a good read on the track. And so, Tom, what are some things that you learned from your hook last night that are going to help you out today?
Well, we have never pulled on a Bauer sled in probably 10, 12 years, so a Bauer sled pulls a little different than the ones we're used to. It takes a little more front end weight. The track took a little more front end weight than we were ready for last night, so hopefully tonight we get our act together, so to speak.
So how much weight did you end up deciding to move forward because of the way that the nose lifted last night?
We moved 200 more forward, 200 more pounds more forward.
So is this normally close to where you run? I mean, you said 200 more, but I mean, have you ever carried this much weight on the front end?
We're probably 300 heavier than normal up front.
And I love it. Leslie not afraid to ask the questions. I'm surprised he answered it, but
Sometimes
you can see it, though, out front anyways.
Yeah, sometimes they'll tell you. However, I will mention, some guys actually run fake weights out front because they know people like me are counting.
For sure. And another very strong showing, so the team tractors very close to each other within a couple of feet as he ends up at 3:52 and 57 and takes over second place.
It looked like pretty close to the same track placement for the two tractors, and while Tom struggles a little bit off the line, he straightens it up right away. And you can see a pretty powerful pull here. Nice straight line, not much he could do better, but again, those little differences are made on the starting line. So if he had a little bit of smoother takeoff, didn't have to use a little bit of brake right there, maybe he could have surpassed his son. It's still really just amazing, though, that we're seeing these kind of distances and ground speed. And these are things the pullers like because it's not very often that they get to go that fast and then they get to pull that far, too.
And here comes our points leader, Justin Wagler, on the Real Deer. 11 scheduled hooks. We've had 9 of those so far, as a couple of rainouts factored in. And of those 9, he's been on the podium 8 times, including 6 wins. What an incredible year. And they'll throw the red flag, and rightfully so. 372-13, and we have a new leader.
It's truly amazing that he can stand back there and watch these other tractors run, make some small adjustments, and then jump in the seat and put almost 18 feet on the nearest competitor. I mean, I know he attributes a lot of that to the hundreds of passes that he makes on the dyno, but it's still phenomenal to see him come out here and do it. I mean, and it's almost picture perfect every time.
Front end up, really just planting those back tires. Relatively straight, going off to the right there just a little bit, and right at the very end as it's spinning the tires, it slides over just a bit, but man, what an incredible machine he has so far this season. He's made the correct calls, all the right changes, and it has really paid huge dividends. A massive lead there for our points leader, but we're not done. Does anybody have anything for him?
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by General Tire, anywhere is possible. K&N, superior airflow, superior performance. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
And a beautiful shot here at Ellsworth, Wisconsin for the Optima batteries. Curd Capital Fall Nationals presented by K&N Filters. Fans being treated to a great show here courtesy of the Limited Pro Stockers. And we'll have the big Pro Stockers coming out here in just a little bit. Kevin Engelking coming up here next out of Rock City, Illinois. It's called the Dark Horse. As you can see, the 195 workhorse there. Beautiful machine. And he'll finally end up at 340 and 98. That'll be good enough to slide into fourth place for now.
It was really cool to see the tires squat and plan and dig into the track at the beginning of that run. He was a little more patient than I thought that he ought to be here on that run. But, you know, it's all about how you feel it as the driver, how you feel when those rear tires hook up and the sled come on after you. And I know it's, you know, maybe not the winning pass for him tonight, but he's got to feel good. Two of his customers so far sitting in second and third as running in the red and running red hot. Both bring those amazing 4.1 engines to his shop to run on the dyno for tuning.
And here comes the man that kicked off the category. We'll find out what Ryan has now after the sled adjustment. His first hook, 363 and 36. Oh, man, and it is not going to go well for him here. Clearly having some issues there, and it'll end up way, way short of what he was hoping for.
You know, and unfortunately for him, he only had 5 tractors to try to get that engine cooled down, and he made such an amazing, long, beautiful pass that I wonder if there wasn't some kind of fatigue early on, you know, from that run that caused him some damage here on this particular hook.
Slid the clutch there to keep the RPMs up at the very beginning, and it launched, picked the front end up, but clearly something giving way soon thereafter. Concerned look on his face as well. He knows whatever has gone wrong will cost him some money, just the way this sport goes. So that'll wrap things up here for the category of the Limited Pro Stockers, and we'll get it down to the podium and talk to our points leader, who's just won another.
So Justin Wagler picks up first again here in our Limited Pro Stock class, but you said it was a last-minute change that really helped you make that huge distance tonight. What did you see out there that made you change your setup?
Last night we thought we were a little bit light, and so we put a little bit more weight on the nose, and then the starting line started out a little slick this evening, so we pulled the weight back and just left it in the same gear, and it worked out for us. So just thankful to be here again, thankful that the Curd Nationals had our class up here. I want to thank all the sponsors of Lucas Oil and the Curd Nationals, and just want to thank all the help. Jay, again, that helps me, Marlette Engines, and all the guys back home covering for me.
Here's a look at the final distances for the entire class, treating all the fans to a great show here. Tough break there for Ryan right at the very end. Clearly had a great tractor at the start of the night, just didn't pan out in that second hook. How about the Gallet's team? Doing an incredibly good job here tonight as both tractors are on the podium. Let's go down and talk to Nick.
Nick Gallet picks up second tonight here in our limited pro class, and it seemed like the starting line was maybe giving you guys some fits, like you had to really be patient to get that good hole shot tonight.
For sure, we had to slip the clutch out probably 75 feet, kind of hold back on the throttle, took off about 3,200 RPM, try to get the tires locked in to give us a good hole shot and get us down to the other end.
Yeah, just super long, spectacular passes. What was it like to ride it out that long tonight?
Oh, that was a lot of fun. The sled hit me, and I felt that, and it kind of just shoved me forward. I knew I had a good pass.
Yeah, congratulations on your podium tonight.
Thank you.
And here's a look at the points as Justin Wagler will extend his points lead out now just a bit over Mark Wells. And, of course, Brett and Chad still hooked up there at the same mark as they were not here at this particular event. Once again, we're going to go back down to the podium, and this time we'll talk to Dad.
So a little family competition here as the Gallets take second and third. But Tom, third place tonight, and you kind of joked with me and said that you gave your son the better piece of equipment tonight.
He had a little better set of tires, and I think I left myself dripped to the middle of the track a little too far. But we're happy with second and third. We're still looking for number one.
Well, but you told me earlier, too, that it's one of those things where you're just trying to find, a good baseline and get these tractors running consistently.
We are, and we're getting in the right direction here, but the season's almost over, so we'll change everything this winter and start over again in the spring.
Yeah, but it's got to feel good. Second and third tonight for Team Gallet.
We are happy tonight. Thank you.
Great looking team shirts as well. Congrats to those guys. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be time for the Pro Stock category. Stay with us. The sun has set here at Ellsworth, Wisconsin at Pierce County Fairgrounds at the Optima Batteries Kurt Capital Fall Nationals presented by K&N Filters. Time now for the big pro stockers. Come out here making that big time steam, blowing a lot of black smoke, rolling that coal, as they say. And we'll kick things off here with a veteran for sure, Steve Wishmeyer, as good as they get, and the tractor called Barely Getting By. Comes in here seventh in the points. Front end up in the air, definitely putting on a show for the fans. A couple of podiums this year, including a win at our second hook, and he's going to put a big number on the board, 3:26 and 82.
And we seem to see similar runs from our 4-1s and our Pro Stock, although the difference in horsepower and RPMs is huge here. But it's all about that takeoff with the different sled that they're pulling here this weekend, getting that ground speed up and super fast passes. And it's so cool to see Steve, who's been out of the seat for most of the season, come in here for the weekend. He picked up a fourth one day ago and then setting the mark out here at 3:26 and change as the first tractor of the category. Kind of a little one-upsmanship there for his son, who's been in the seat all season so far.
Yeah, really, really nice job. We'll see what the rest of the gang here in the category has for that. But that's a strong number for sure as we take a look at the pulling order here. Yes, that is the same Justin Wagler we just saw a couple of moments ago in the limited pro stock category. Be driving the tractor called Money on Black. Rob Russell, Dustin Hart, Mike Boyd, of course, as you take a look down through there, and there's some big-time players for sure. And just saw Justin Wagler will also be driving the Category 5 machine. So very busy out here tonight is Justin Wagler on 3 different tractors. Here he comes on the Money on Black machine, and what a gorgeous John Deere. He won 4 hooks ago at Terre Haute, but he's struggled here one night ago. And right now he's going to put 3:17 and 17 on the board.
And of course, he's doing the driving this weekend for the Hurricane Motorsports team. Normally we see Peter Norton in the seat, but Justin Wagler's first attempt on a Pro Stock 1 hook ago was a little bit rough, and so he's trying to figure out how to drive it. And you've got to remember, too, each one of these tractors is different. And while he is a seasoned veteran and he has wins in all 3 of our diesel tractor categories, it's still different to jump from one vehicle to the next. Very, very challenging how these vehicles react. The 4-1 is going to act very, very different from the Pro Stock. So kudos to him coming out here, still posting a huge number on the board and still considered a successful pass here in the category.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm sure the feel at the very start of those hooks, which is everything, is massively different. Here's a look at the points with Jack Mays up top, Kevin Masterson 24 back. And, of course, he is the son of the reigning champ, Don Masterson, from 2018. He's only got 2 hooks left to get it done if he's going to win this championship.
Yeah, and a little bit of a falter from Jack Mays 1 hook ago gave Kevin Masterson 16 points. So he's 16 points closer to him in this hook.
I agree 100%. And this class is large enough, it can change quickly. Here we go, 3rd hook inside of the category. This is Rob Russell, the workhorse. He has back-to-back 3rd-place finishes working, including here, just 1 round to go. And he'll come out here and put 322 on the board. Really solid effort there for a very tight 2nd place.
He came out early in the season, only made 3 hooks, and then laid out for a few hooks, got busy, did a little bit more R&D, changed some parts, realized he wasn't going to make the whole season, and decided, hey, I'm going to focus on next year, test and tune. And in the last 5 hooks, he's had 3 podiums, including those 2 that you mentioned and 1 from 1 day ago. And so, for him, he's really on a roll. But I love how smooth he is in this run. That front end just kind of dangling, and then he hangs it out there about the 200-foot mark, almost all the way to the very end. He's really found good balance points on the tractor, and he's really got it weighted nicely right now.
Yeah, and something falling out from underneath it there on the right front at the very beginning. Didn't seem to hurt the performance any, whatever it may have been. So a solid effort for him as you take a look at your top 3 there. Plenty more great machines coming our way here inside of the Pro Stock category. We'll be right back here to Ellsworth. Fans bundled up here on a brisk evening at the Optima Batteries Curd Capital Fall Nationals presented by K&N Filters. Track crew doing a great job keeping this track maintained. And here comes another beautiful machine. This one a Massey Ferguson called Beyond Limits, and Dustin Hart doing the driving. Comes in here just outside of the top 10, but still has 2 podiums on the season. Just goes to show you how deep this field is, and he'll post a distance of 3:19 and 89.
Yeah, and I really love what they decided to do with this tractor, and as you mentioned, the beautiful look of it with that Massey Ferguson sheet metal, but don't let that fool you. There's still a John Deere big block underneath, because that's kind of the king of this category. It's the most durable block kind of in the business. It takes a beating from these guys, and they sure put it through its paces, as this team did early on in the season and had to sit out a few rounds because of some mechanicals that kept them from competition.
Coming up next, the Green Streak X, and Mike Boyd doing the driving. Has had some success along the way. Wapakoneta and Hillsboro, back-to-back podiums, including a win there for Mike Boyd in this machine, and Leslie had a chance to speak with him as well.
For Mike Boyd this year, it's been all about changes and trying to find that perfect combination. And you've been pretty aggressive this year as far as making those changes. Have you found what you're looking for?
I don't know that you ever find what you're looking for 100%. Obviously, we like to win, but we kind of fell out of the points race early, and we've kind of taken the approach this year that we'd like to learn. obviously we'd like to win as well, but yeah, we're learning. I mean, there's a lot of variables in tractor pulling, as we all know, but testing is where you learn. So, it's just part of the game.
You told us earlier you were experimenting with turbos and tires. So what have you learned about turbos and tires this year?
Well, I've learned they got to match, and that's not easy to do. The new tires that's come out this year, most everyone has them now, have advanced the sport a little bit. We've been doing some turbo testing with Weimer, and they're very, very good to us. And just getting that right match with the gearing and the weight and the tires and all, it's a combination. And we're getting there. We've had some success, but when you try things, then you usually fall back a little. So we're working.
Yeah, and he said he was out of the points hunt pretty early on. They missed the first 2 hooks. If you give him baseline points for those 2 hooks, he's inside of the top 5 right now in the points. This is no slouch as a team. They're tough. And he'll come out here. Looks like he's going to miss it a little bit here this evening. 3:15 and 65, and that'll put him in 5th place out of 5 tractors.
And I wonder what he saw on the right-hand side of the track that made him decide to move to that side, because we haven't seen anyone run there yet. And so he kind of points it towards that sideline, thinking that maybe there's going to be some good dirt over there. We haven't seen anyone do that yet. Everybody else is going towards the left-hand side of the track, because that's where we saw Steve Wishmeyer come right out of the gate with that awesome, huge pass that still stands as our lead so far. And I love that he talks about you got to get your turbo and your tires to match, because this is a team that does a lot of work on the dyno. And what may work on the dyno sometimes doesn't really translate to the track when you put those tires on. It's a great point.
Here comes John Link and the Revelation Pro. And still sticking with that old sheet metal there on the International. Unfortunately, the distance will be well short here at 3:01 and 28.
Yeah, I love the old school sheet metal. It gives it just kind of that classic look. As you mentioned, a lot of guys going with the newer racing sheet metal. It also gives them a little bit more room under the hood as well. One time I talked to Stuart and Jack Mays about the fact that they've kept that traditional sheet metal, and they said, but we've stuffed as much in there as we possibly can. We're actually running out of room. So that could be the case for John. I would say in the next few years, we're probably not going to see as much traditional sheet metal here in our Pro Stock category.
Okay, well, once again, we'll take a quick break here. We've got some great tractors coming up. Let's see if anybody can challenge them for the win.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Super Clean, not just clean, super clean. And by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source.
And Grim of the track here once again to prep for the rest of the Pro Stock category here at the Optima Batteries Kern Capital Fall Nationals, presented by K&N Filters. About halfway through the category here, and coming up next will be Corey Bobb driving the Whiskey Wild. Steve Wishmeyer, typically behind the wheel of the Whiskey Wild, will come in here 5th in the points, kick the season off with a 2nd place finish.
So unfortunately, the Whiskey Wild went out of bounds last night. But Corey, the way the track was playing, and it looked like he really didn't have much choice to choose that line. So when you've got one side of the track that seems to be a little bit aggressive, how do you decide to spot the cone over there and take that chance?
I think last night, just watching the class, we were late. That was about our only option. A couple tractors went left. They weren't getting anywhere. So you kind of had to roll the dice a little bit, and that's a gamble we took, and obviously I didn't play that gamble very well.
So how do you kind of come back today? Because I know you're still a little bit salty about it right now, and kind of redeem yourself and get yourself in the right mindset to pull today.
Oh, it's just another night. I mean, that's motorsports. That's just what we go through, and you try to blow it off, and you move on to the next night and do the best you can.
Again, another just absolutely gorgeous tractor here. See if he can have a better outing.
Of course, this is the team tractor to our leader right now, so I wonder how much knowledge they were able to transfer and if they're going to be able to replicate runs.
And I think we have a clear answer to that question. Boy, just hung the front end out there beautifully. What a solid effort here at 326.08 and misses the lead by a mere 9 inches. Beautiful job.
Just textbook from the very, very beginning. I mean, really the only place we see him falter just a little bit is that the track is pointed a little bit towards that left-hand sideline, but he does a great job of letting it float, not applying that brake until he absolutely has to, and that sled straightens up behind him, and I think that's what the difference in the 9 inches or so probably is out there with that sled swinging, those grouser bars dinging in, and really bringing him to a halt at the end. But purely textbook and amazing. That's exactly why you have team tractors out here, so you can come and do that and share that information and put them both up there in contention for those points.
Yeah, for sure. Sitting first and second right now. Congratulations to the Wishmeyer camp. We'll find out if it hangs on as we are far from done. Here comes our points leader, Jack Mays, in the billet binder. Boy, what a season he's had. 7 podiums, including 3 wins. And those 3 wins were consecutive.
Yeah, and he's got to have a good hook here if he wants to maintain a solid lead going into the last event of the year.
When you said it, he struggled here 1 round to go, only earned 32 points, 312 and 50, and he's going to struggle here again by all rights, taking a look at how he's performed the previous part of the season.
I just can't imagine what these guys are thinking now, seeing this 2 hooks in a row for this team, and they've got 1 left, and they better hope that the fill-in driver this weekend, Daryl Fols for Kevin Masterson, doesn't have his A game with him tonight and goes out there and puts some big numbers on the board. It's got to be some fatigue. You see some sparks there from the clutch can underneath, really working that hard to get that good hole shot, and just really doesn't leg it out like we've seen him all season long. I mean, you mentioned, Ken, the beginning of the season was just amazing, and he was putting 10, 15 feet on guys night in, night out, and now we're seeing him fall back just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there was a span of 5 consecutive podiums, either first or second, there in the middle part of the season. But boy, he has certainly felt the pain here in the last 2 hooks, and the run for this championship is on. We're back here at the Optima Batteries Curd Capital Fall Nationals presented by K&N Filters. And our points leader, Jack Mays, has struggled 2 nights in a row. And the River Rat team now has the door opened up for him to close this points gap even more. Justin Wagler, we've been talking about him, it seems like all night long, coming up here for the 3rd time, 2nd time in this category, and of course the points leader in the Limited Pro Stock category. We're going to take you back, courtesy of General Tire, to a flashback.
Yeah, this is just 1 hook ago on the opposite track here at Ellsworth. Check out that wheel stand. I mean, he just commands this tractor right from the very beginning. Does an awesome job of keeping it off that chalk line, working that left brake to keep it inbounds and take the win for the team.
Back-to-back podiums working for the Category 5 machine, typically driven by Peter Norton. And he'll end up at 310 and 17, unfortunately a little bit short of what he needs to win here tonight.
And just didn't have the balance that he had on that winning pass from 1 night ago. And even though they moved tracks, things should be kind of similar for them. He had enough tractors ahead of him to watch, but man, that's hard to do. They've got about 1,500, 2,000 pounds that they can move around that tractor, or put it back by the hitch, they can put it on the belly bar, or they can put it out there on the nose, and that's probably the most critical spot because they're looking to try to get that balance out there. 12 to 14 inches off the ground is all you want those front tires, and man, that's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, just not perfectly happy, and we talk about it so many times where the smallest of changes can really make a huge difference, and that's what happened tonight. So we continue on here. Up next will be Cody Shea on the tractor called Red Edge Pro, just inside of the top 10 in the points here. Again with a podium earlier on in the season at the very tough Henry Hook. And the Farmall comes out here and makes a respectable effort for sure as he ends up at 3:18 and 70.
Yeah, definitely going to mix it up in the group there. And, I wondered if he was going to gain that distance that he needed to kind of mix it up, with the front end kind of hanging and not really lifting as much as we normally see out of these tractors. However, this tractor a little bit different than the others. And so maybe this is the balance point for this tractor and, what it needs with the setup that it has with the turbo and the tires to create the horsepower that they need.
Falls inside of the top 5 so far here tonight, and beautiful run right there. Just took a little bit to finally get that front end up, and it just really got light. It never really came up where they like to see them, but certainly a very good effort.
Yeah, and with 10 weights in the box, we're talking about a very heavy sled out there, probably over 200,000 pounds of rolling weight that they're pulling at the end of the track.
Well, here comes the hook of the night. Daryl Fols driving the River Rat has an opportunity to really close up this points gap here with our points leader Jack Mays ending up well short of what he wanted here tonight. Leslie had a chance to speak to Daryl.
So Daryl Fols has picked up back-to-back podiums with the Masterson pulling team, but it's not like he's a stranger to the world of pulling. Daryl, we just haven't seen you here on the PPL circuit in a while, but you do have a rich history in pulling.
Right. We had a Case Pro Stock we pulled for probably 10 years or so, but for that, Dad and them always pulled, and from, I don't know, when I was a little kid, we was always working on them and always had some going on. For a long time, Mom didn't like it very well, but she saw how it brought us all together, so she grew to love it too.
Well, yeah, and you've gone with the Mastersons for years, and you've always kind of been a fill-in driver. Just with some family obligations and a wedding going on, you've just kind of filled in a little more this year.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to get on top running pro stocks for them. The old Case, it didn't always run the best, but these are real good.
Yes, they are, and he certainly proved that one night ago as he finished up in second place. Boy, and another great looking effort here. The distance 3:22 and 93. Not good enough to get up into the top 2, but good enough for a podium position right now. And more importantly, put 6 tractors between himself and Mays. That's a lot of points.
Just so solid considering coming in this weekend, he's got the opportunity to give Kevin an advantage going into the last hook of the season to win a championship the year after his father did it. And there's a lot of pressure, to do that and to run one of these very, very expensive pro stocks and to make it look like a Sunday stroll down the track and to put up that big number is just amazing.
Well, incredible effort here, and this one is going to go down to the final hook for sure. He'll get it now within reach as you talk about that championship, and we still have one tractor yet to go inside of this category. It could get even tighter. Andrew Boyd and the Green Streak will be the last one to hook. Stay with us.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by General Tire, anywhere is possible. Rhino Ag, born to lead. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
And we're back here with one tractor yet to go inside of the Pro Stock category here at the Optima Batteries Curd Capital Fall Nationals, presented by K&N Filters. It will be a tough Andrew Boyd and that Green Streak team. They come in here 8th in the points. Did grab a win at Wapakoneta about mid-season. And a good effort here at 320 and 30 puts him inside of the top 5 and puts another tractor between the River Rat and Jack Mays and the Billet Binder.
Yeah, that's not what the red team needed to see, but they knew Andrew Boyd was tough here as the final hook of the category. And watchful eyes on the track, seeing that left side's where he needs to be, really smooth out of the hole. And again, it's that fishtailing sled behind him, a detriment to his distance as it comes out at the very end.
Takes his time letting that clutch out. Finally gets the front end up in the air and just tugs it down through there and finally burns it in at 320. So another great effort out of that Green Streak team for sure to end up inside of the top 5. But tonight, it's all about the Steve Wishmeyer team, capturing the top 2 steps on the box. That is an incredible outing there by Steve Wishmeyer and company here at Ellsworth. They had not pulled here before, so to come out here and do a good job, of course, one night ago they did learn something, and they put it all to work here tonight on night 2. Let's talk to him.
So Steve Wishmeyer getting it done tonight and the barely getting by. First hook of the night. I just wonder, are you out here tonight trying to show Jack how to get it done, picking up the win?
I don't know about all that. I mean, Jack's had a little bit of a rough season. Kind of left him home this weekend. Told him I'd like to run the tractor, so he stayed home this weekend.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little rough off the starting line for you. Your whole shot wasn't what you were looking for.
No, my whole shot was a little crappy, but after that, I kind of brought it out of it, and it seemed to work. So.
And the team hitting the setup. Congratulations on the big win.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to thank all the sponsors, the Lucas Oil and everybody else, the fairgrounds here for having us, and Riverside Engines, of course, Weimer, Hartz, Diesel. Them boys, do us a good job. Engler Machine. I mean, it takes everybody to make these things work. I mean, the competition is so stiff, it's neck and neck all the way, and it's really something to be here in the winner's circle.
Here's a look at those distances, and boy, take a look at the top 2 there. Those teammates, team tractors, incredibly close to each other and really covering the field by a fair amount. Daryl Fols doing an incredible job there on the River Rat machine, filling in for Kevin Masterson, and we'll give him a shot at the championship in that final hook. Let's go back down to the podium.
So a little redemption tonight here for Corey Bob and the Whiskey Wild, picking up the second place finish after going out of bounds with that sweet pass.
Yeah, thank you very much. It felt good to redeem myself a little bit. Last night was a little disappointing, been frustrated all day. So it felt good to get a second, and obviously I can't beat the boss, or he probably won't let me drive again. So.
Did he at least share some data with you after that sweet looking pass the first time?
A little bit. We might have shared just a little bit of information.
Well, next time, get him to tell you all your secrets.
Yeah, I've been trying to get that out of him for a long time, and I can't get them all. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I think Steve hit on most of them. I'd like to especially thank Hartz Diesel, Weimer Turbo, Riverside Engines, Fast Fuel Systems for sponsoring this class. It's a great class. Hopefully everything stays the same years to come.
The split was 24 points between first and second coming in, and now it's just a mere 10 points or 5 tractors. It's all going to go down to the final hook at Lucas Oil Speedway for the Pro Stock category. So exciting. This class is never over until the final hook. Let's go back down to the podium.
So it's 3 podiums in a row for Daryl Fols. This time River Rat picks up third, and it looked like, since you were second to last year, that the track really stayed consistent for you guys tonight.
Yeah, I believe it really did. We kind of watched all night long. We looked like it was doing a little bit better to the left, and I tried to hold it over there, but it kind of hooked right at the end, and I think I'd done a little better if I got it left, but I let it go where it wanted.
Yeah, definitely showing your veteran status here this weekend, picking up another podium for the River Rat.
Yeah, hopefully we can get up there in the points and have a little better shot next weekend.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Never miss a pull. Go to propulling.com/set reminder to add all of the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League airings to your personal calendar. Receive a calendar reminder minutes before each event airs.
It's always a great time covering the Smokers, and we thank all of the competitors from both the limited Pro Stock category and the Pro Stock Tractor category. Should be a great show coming down to the final hook of the 2019 season. Remember, you can always go to ProPulling.com to keep up the latest news and check out that schedule as well. We'd love to have you come out to one of our events. Hope you enjoyed all the great pulling action from Ellsworth, Wisconsin. For Leslie Mears, I'm Ken Stout. Thanks for watching the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.